Sit. Back. Sit. Back. One. Sit. Here. Here. Back. No, one. Easy. Heel. Sit. Easy. Back. Get down. One. Get down. Sit. Come on, let's go. Heel. Sit. Easy. Heel. Sit down. Sit. Back. Sit. Let's go. Hold. Sit. Heel. Sit. Easy. Easy. Back. Go on, get down. Hold. Drop. Heel. Sit. Heel. Back. Sit.
Well, good evening, everyone. Mike Hurd back at you with another live stream here on your Thursday evening, making it a little more entertaining this time. And I've got a special giveaway to give you here, only if you stick around to the end. I'm going to put something in the comments that is going to help you out dramatically. Tonight's focus on the live stream is going from junior to senior. All right, so maybe you've got a dog passing junior tests back to back, and they're semi-steady, they're marking pretty good, and overall you feel pretty good about the dog. So why does that same dog fall apart when you try and bring it up into the senior game? So tonight, that's exactly what's happening in this live stream. We're going to cover this, and more importantly, what can you do about it before your next test? Okay, so I've put together a breakdown of exact differences between junior and senior. And I'm going to go over to the white wall here in just a minute, but what AKC actually expects your dog to do differently from one to the other, and what most handlers overlook in training. And tonight, coming up in just a few minutes, we're again going to, wow, I need to start that over. All right, from the top. 3, 2. Well, good evening, everyone. Mike Hurd back at you with another live stream. Hopefully, I'll make this one just a little more entertaining than the past. Hopefully, I've worked out some of the bugs and issues. But tonight, I want to focus from the beginning. I want to go down to the junior level and transition into the senior level. That's one of the biggest hurdles I see in the AKC hunt test game. So let's say you got a junior dog and you're passing back-to-back weekends. The dog's steady for the most part. It's marking fairly good. It's doing everything right. So why does that same dog tend to fall apart when you try and move up into the senior? And if you recall, back on Sunday, that was the topic of my long-form video on the channel, was when to move up. And take a look at that video if you haven't, and it's a great discussion. But tonight, I'm going to tell you, we're going to go into this a little bit deep dive into this subject, and actually what's happening, and more importantly, what you can do about it before you enter your next hunt test. So I've put together a breakdown of exactly what is different between a junior and a senior, and what the AKC actually expects out of your dog to do differently between one and the other. And most handlers overlook in training. What is that? I'm going to go over that here as well. So that's coming up in just a second here. But first, let me show you one of the things I see trip up most senior dogs more than anything else. And this is a big topic for new folks. Blind retrieves. New folks running blind retrieves tend to be more of a spectator than a handler. And when running blinds, you need to be analyzing, not just watching the dog run the blind and what it's doing and where it's going and how it's getting there. You need to pick a corridor when you're running blinds. You need to find features from the line, from where the dog is running from to the line to the blind. There should be a corridor in there. All right, you want to keep your dog inside that corridor. And trust me, when I say this, trust me, judges set blinds up with corridors. They do. They may or may not tell you what that corridor is. So you need to watch the test dog and try and figure out what was difficult for the test dog. What part of the blind? Was it the beginning? Was it the middle? Was it the end? You break them down into 3 segments like that, even if they're short 60-yard blinds. You got to break it down to the beginning, middle, and end. And I've always been a proponent of take your cell phone up there with you, take a picture of it. After the test dog runs, you can squat down and look at the line and take a picture of the line to the blind and to the marks as well. And then bring that back to you and study it before you run. Now, I got something special I want to share in this live stream. I'm trying to make these live streams more educational than I have in the past. And there really wasn't a whole lot of news this week to go over. But this time I wanted to pick a topic. And the topic is, again, junior going into senior. And I'm going to walk over here in just a minute. But if you stick around to the end of the live stream and you put a comment in the comment section below, I'm going to give you something special. It's going to be a checklist that I've designed. It's going to be a self-examination of yes or no questions. And hopefully this can be kind of a roadmap for you to help. You know, it's a is my senior dog ready kind of a self-assessment. It's got some yes or no questions in there. It's covering the core senior requirements. And again, it should be a great value for those of you that want to go from junior to senior and you're brand new into the game. And that's basically what this channel is all about, is going from, again, the new people going into the game. And I want to make this a genuine channel of knowledge that I have accumulated over the last 38 years of running AKC hunt tests. So stick around to the end. And again, I'm going to give you a downloadable link, a PDF, if you will, and you can print that out and give yourself a self-assessment of you and your dog. All right, so let's walk over to the wall and let's get into the nitty-gritty. All right, let's talk about going from, junior to senior. It's a big monumental leap forward in difficulty. Junior is the entry level that most of us jump into. It's where I started back in 1990. All right, I took 2 dogs through the junior. Had an incredibly difficult time going from junior to senior. And with my 38 years of experience, now I want to bring this topic to light and help you avoid the mistakes that I made when I first got into the hunt test game. So junior is an entry level point. It's very basic, but doesn't mean it's easy. It means that there are some thresholds that you have to accomplish. 4 singles, 2 on land and 2 on water. Dog has to be reasonably under control. That means you can have a slip lead on them. You can have a flat buckle collar on the dog. You can put your hand underneath their collar and hold them that way. So you have some control of the dog on the line. But the big one is delivery to hand. And that's where a lot of young, inexperienced dogs can fail at the junior level. That is hard. And if you don't teach it the right way, it could be a difficult thing to kind of get beyond. But again, going from the basic junior level to a senior level, now you've got multiple marks. You got doubles on land and water. You got land and water blinds. You have an honor, and you definitely have a walk-up. You may have diversion shots and diversion birds. All of that means a greater degree of steadiness. Steadiness in control is huge at the senior level, and it is more so at the master level. So here's my plan for success from going from junior to senior. First of all, if I was going to run a junior, the best way to succeed at the junior level is twofold. One is that I will not run consecutive weekends or in a what they call a double header. I will not run the double header. I'll only run one of the 2 juniors. And that's because I don't want to teach my dog bad habits. I don't want to teach them how to get out of control. Okay. So that's step 1. Step 2, if I was going to run a junior, before I even think about stepping into the junior stake, my dog has to be ready to run at the senior level. I'm training at a higher level. And in doing so, if my dog has a high degree of steadiness, can run multiple marks, do basic blinds, can honor another dog, can do a walk-up, all of that flawlessly in training, then when I come down to run a junior, this is going to be extremely easy. And I should be able to pass any junior that I enter and is in front of me. So again, it's twofold. Don't run back-to-back weekends and don't run both double headers. If you can avoid it, that would be my suggestion, because I don't want you and your dog to learn bad habits, and those bad habits are only get compounded once you move up to here, and much more so as you try and get into the master level. So again, going from here to there is a lot easier if you just train your dog to get to the senior first and then bring him down and run at the junior level. So the senior is all about steadiness. So how do you get to this point? So the one topic I want to bring up is simply this. Do not train your dog to run just for singles and be reasonably steady and deliver to hand. Don't set yourself up for a low bar there. You need to train at a higher level like this, but I'm not just going to train for senior. Yes, I'm going to run through the sequence and I'm going to make sure my dog can handle the criteria that's embedded in the senior level, but that's not what training is. Training is, I'm going to put it up here in front of you, it's a pyramid. Doesn't matter if I'm running hunt tests or field trials. This is how you train a dog. You train basics, then you train intermediate concepts, and then you train advanced concepts. The largest part of training is that foundational work at the bottom. There are numerous little itty bitty steps that you have to go through in a basics program. Nowhere in basics you're going to find on anyone's basics flow chart does it say junior, does it say senior, does it say master, does it say field trials? No, this is just dog training 101. This is how you train. In basics, there are numerous little steps to go through, like teaching the dog to sit, a whistle sit, how to walk at heel, do figure eights. A lot of obedience work. It goes into that foundational young dog that you're trying to get going into the hunt test and field trial game. But it's more than that. It's force fetch, it's collar conditioning, it's single T, double T, force to a pile, wagon wheels, pattern blinds. And a big one is water D cheating. You don't want them to run around a corner of a pond. You want them to have a good water entry and a good water exit. You want them on and off a point properly. You have to get through all of that. I mean, all of that before I even think about running anything in the hunt test game. And then I want to start into the intermediate phase of dog training before I even think about running a junior. Because if I can get my dog through at least that stage, which can take 6 months to a year or longer, depending on the dog. So if I had a goal to run a junior, it's probably not going to be until the dog is at least 1.5 to 2 years old. Now, you'll hear stories that someone's dog got a master pass or even a master title at 2 years old. Hey, congratulations, amen. I'll shake your hand, give you a pat on the back. That is not where I like to go, because it's all about not creating bad habits that are going to be compounded every time you try and step forward. And those bad habits can be creeping noise, unsteadiness, hard mouth issues, a dog that just will not settle down in the holding blind. I mean, it gets to one of those points that it's just so frustrating to try and tackle. So dog training isn't just simply training for junior, simply training for senior, or simply training for master. It's walking through basics, which takes up a large chunk of their foundational work, then intermediate training, and then advanced training. And you'll hear this comment a lot. Professionals are always coming back to basics, where amateurs are always trying to train at the highest level at advanced. So that should tell you something, because basics is where it's at. You have to have a solid foundation of basics. And if you run into an issue or some kind of training problem, then you have to kind of go back and look, all right, so how do I fix this by going back into basics? And I will take my dogs through a mini basics course every 6 months. I'm going to repeat force to a pile. I'm going to repeat a lot of obedience. I'm going to repeat just some basic force fetch. Doesn't take very long. I'm going to repeat hold and fetch and drop fetch. Again, I'm going to spend some time doing that. And typically I'll do that when I first get going in winter training. Dogs have had a couple of months off after the hunt test and field trial seasons are over. They may hunt a little bit and then they kind of get rested up and spend a little time on the couch and just press. And then I'm going to say, all right, let's get back into training, but I'm going to start going through a shortened basics
Back.
training program
Back.
after they've been fully taught basics. And then I'll move up into a little bit of intermediate work and then move up into advanced or try and get into some group training. So right now I'm battling a dog that has a lot of anxiety and vocal issues. And I'm going back trying to fix that through more basics training and trying to calm that dog down. And I've got a lot of videos on here, and I'm going to call it the Doppler Project. And again, I'm going to have a lot more videos coming up here on this channel talking about that very issue. But to get back to the topic of this live stream, again, the bridge between junior and senior. It's a big, big, monumental leap forward in difficulty, even more so going from senior to master. But don't think just because you got a junior title and you pass 4 and your dog's, woohoo, pat yourself on the back, that you're immediately going to jump and start running senior. The only way I would do that is if I know I trained my dog at the senior level and it was just beginning to run triples and try and do some master level stuff. If I took it to the junior and it just went in there and kicked what, and then it's all right, let's test the senior and see where you're at and continue to train. But again, I'm not running back to back weekends. Don't do that. Most dogs can't handle that. It's just way too exciting, and their emotional state is just going to go through the roof. Try and plan that out ahead of time. Don't be in a big hurry to go from one to the other. In fact, if I were to do it again, I would say, all right, I'm going to run junior this season, and then I'll focus on senior next season, and then I'll focus on master after that. However, being at this game for almost 40 years, I no longer run at these 2 stakes. I will not do that. My goal is to run master. I want a master level dog. I want a master hunter title. I want a master national plate. I want a master amateur plate. I want a QA2. I want an AFC. Those are lofty, high goals. These 2 stakes are the beginning stepping stones of that, but I'm going to train at a much higher level. Right now, I've got one dog that's 3 years old, and I've got one that's just a little over 2. They have not set foot in a hunt test. I won't do it because I'm training them at a higher level, and that higher level right now is Derby and qualifying. One dog just finished Derby. It's the one I have vocal problems with, and he will not run anything this year until I get that under control. My other dog, River, went through a handful of qualifyings last summer and very inexperienced, but he came a long way in a short amount of time. And I'm hopeful that we can get some master passes. I'm not going to try and get a title this season, but I'm going to try and run 1 or 2 masters and then jump into running more qualifyings, because at the qualifying level, they're not blowing duck calls. Distances are greater. So the excitement level isn't as much as it is at a hunt test. When the distances are short and they're blowing duck calls and they get a shot, OMG, my God, dogs can just totally go bananas. They just can't handle that. So I'm very cautious before I even think about running a hunt test, how I want to approach that. And I found it to be a lot easier to train at the highest level I can, which is go beyond hunt tests and train for Derby and qualifying, and then try and come back down and test the waters every now and then and see where they're at. If they jump into the hunt test game and they're successful at it, fine, we'll dig into that and we'll try and attempt to get a master title. But I'm not trying to get a junior title, and I'm not trying to get a senior title. That's just me. That's my personal preference, because my goal is to get a master title and, again, field trial titles as well. So these are great for new folks getting into the game, but again, you have to be very careful not to create bad habits at these levels, especially for inexperienced dog trainers, inexperienced amateurs that don't know what they're doing and they just think it's fun and we'll just try it. Well, just trying it can cost you a lot of time and money in the future. And that's what I'm trying to help you. That's what this channel is all about. Giving you advice, giving you things to think about, giving you a blueprint and an idea of how to plan for the future of you and your dog. There's a lot of great content online and professionals, etc. I'm an amateur helping an amateur. That's my motivation, and helping you out of the experiences that I've had along the way. So, all right, so that's the whiteboard discussion, and I just wanted to kind of hit on those things a little bit. And now I'm going to walk back over and let's sit down and finish this live stream. Okay, well, I'm back here at the desk, and good evening again, everyone. My name is Mike Hurd. Thanks for checking out the channel. I had a nice little discussion there on the whiteboard off to my side here, like about my interpretation and feelings about running those young dog stakes in the hunt test game. Again, it's fantastic for new people getting involved into the sport, and I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of fun. I judge them every now and then, and I go watch them every now and then. They look like they're a blast, but I remember when I first started running junior, getting almost physically ill because I was so nervous to get the dog out and go up there in front of everybody, and it can be incredibly intimidating. And junior is great for stepping up and getting your feet wet, learning what the game's all about, giving you and your dog some experience, and there is definitely a place for it. And again, it's where I started out 1990, 38 years ago or so. This topic kind of works hand in hand with, again, the video that I put out back on Sunday, which is the one there you see on the top left there, when to move up. And we've had a couple hundred views on that, and that's fine. It's not a big deal, but getting some great engagement and Q&A on the chats on any of these videos you see before you. So I encourage you all to continue to do that. And speaking of that, hey, jump in on the chat window here, and I've got like 6 or 7 of you on here tonight. Let me know your personal stories with running at the junior and then trying to move up into the senior. The first time that you actually did that. And was it easy? Was it hard? I know, again, my personal story is that I thought it to be incredibly hard, especially my first 2 dogs. And it was a monumental leap in difficulty. And I struggled until I got some actual help with a professional retriever trainer. And then that's when I learned how to fine tune and read a dog and got more educated myself. So I'm very jealous that most of you all out there these days have access to things like this on YouTube, where you can actually get information and think about things, because back in the early days, all there was a DVD or a book, and that was about it. All right, so I got about 6 or 7 you on here. At the beginning of the content here, I teased a little something here, but before I jump into the free giveaway, I want to let you know that I need your help. I am looking to get around 20 people, and let me jump into the graphic here. I'm building a training app, and I'm going to call it the Amateur Retriever Academy, and kind of goes hand in hand with the Amateur Retriever Academy long-form videos that I put out on this channel. There's such a thing on YouTube that they call it courses, even though it's not a true course, but it's a playlist that, again, I'm adding content to weekly, but I'm taking some of that content and I'm putting it into an app. And in this app, I need 20 people that can test it on an iPhone and about 10 to 20 people that can test it on an Android before this can go live on either the Play Store or iTunes, for example. And what it's going to have is, this is just a still picture that you see before you, but basically it has junior, senior, master. This is geared towards hunt tests. So if you click on that green button on the junior tab, it's going to jump you into the junior. It's going to give you the rules and regulations. It's going to give you highlights of what to expect at the junior. It's going to tell you how to train for the junior. It's going to give you drills on how to train for the junior. You go into the senior tab, it's going to do the same exact thing. And you go in the master tab, it's going to do the same exact thing. But right up here in the middle part of where it says log session, you're going to be able to click on that, enter your dog. Take a picture of your dog, put a little picture on there, and then you can have a log to enter your training sessions, and it's going to spit out some decent graphical information about your training sessions. You can do it a day at a time, a week at a time, a month at a time, 6 months at a time, wherever you want. You can download that as a PDF, and then you can do whatever you want with that. And then I've got another feature in here. It's a Q&A on the app. It's called Ask Rex. Basically, I had to give it a name, so I figured, well, who's the godfather of dog training? And that's Rex Carr, right? So I nicknamed it Rex. So you can go in there and either thumb type a question. If you're out training and you had a difficult session and you needed some advice, you can thumb type it in there, or you can click on the microphone, and that microphone will walk you, or you can say what you need to ask the app, and it should spit out some information. And again, you can't see it here because this is just a still picture, but there's a lot more to this app than just this one page. And in there is a whole section on dog training, basic, intermediate, and advanced, to go along with some videos. A lot of comments that, I get, and I didn't really learn this until we had one of the professionals come out, and oh my gosh, I got his book. I can't remember the name of the professional, but like the 4-phase drill. Never heard of a 4-phase drill. And it really wasn't until Clark Kennington came out and did a little seminar for us in our home training grounds that actually showed us the 4-phase drill. So reading it in the book was like, that kind of was confusing to me. But once I saw it, and then I understood what the drill was all about, and it's basically teaching dogs how to run blinds in association with the gun station and different types of marks, behind the gun, under the arc, through the old fall, etc. And again, I have videos linked inside that app that'll walk you through some of these advanced drills. So again, I just got done building this. I'm doing some bug testing on it, but then to get it really to get out there, I need some volunteers. If you want to volunteer and test this for free, let me know. So in that light, again, I was going to hand out this PDF here, put it in the comments, but it's hard for me through the software that I'm using to actually type in the comments and put a PDF in there. So what I will do, if you know anybody that is going from junior to senior and they want some way to analyze and do a little checkoff list of what they need to do, all you have to do is email me, ask for this free junior to senior checkoff list, and I will be more than happy to email you a PDF. It's not a big PDF, just a couple pages, but again, it gives you some kind of measurement to say, okay, I did this, and you can just walk down the checkoff list, and hopefully it'll give you some kind of way to gauge if you're ready to run at the senior level, going from junior to senior. Because a lot of folks are training by themselves, and they have really no way to measure this kind of stuff. So shoot me an email, wxmherd@hotmail.com, and I will be more than happy to shoot you that PDF at any time. If you have any questions, now is the time to put a question in the chat window or a discussion here. If it doesn't have to be a question, but again, I'm really curious to see. I got 7 or 8 of you on here tonight, but how big of a deal was it for you? Was it easy to go from junior to senior, or was it somewhat challenging? And what were some of the lessons you learned when you tried to do that, especially if you didn't have access to training groups or a retriever club, for example, or even a professional? It can be very daunting to try and learn this on your own, although there's, again, a lot of great ways to learn. This channel is all about free, but if you're paying for that information, that's fine too, and there's a lot of great paid services out there at the moment as well. So again, got about 5 of you here. It's been about a half an hour. This was a topic that I felt I needed to do because I know how hard it is to go from the junior to the senior, especially when you're first getting involved into the sport. So no jumping on here this evening, which is fine. But I got about 4 or 5 of you still hanging on to the end. Just shoot me a put something in the chat there, would you guys? I'd be curious to see where you're watching from and what you like about this channel, and if there's something I can do for you, I would greatly like that feedback. So no one chiming in. Well, that's just fine. So again, that was a topic I wanted to broach and give you guys a little more clarity on the conversation going forward. So it's been about a half an hour, and it's still daylight out here. And look at this, Girl Scout cookies. Already went through one of these darn things. Wife brought a couple of these home this evening, and I've already inhaled it before I did the live shot. So my favorite one is the Caramel Delights, which I've always known them as Samoas, something like that. But hey, if you like Girl Scout cookies, you know, put a thumbs up or say something in the chat to say, I like Girl Scout cookies. And what are your favorite Girl Scout cookies? Getting off topic here a little bit, but I still have 7 or 8 of you here jumping on to the live stream. Boy, what's coming up next? So on Sunday, my next long form video is going to focus in on reading effort. And there's a lot of great videos on that. It is a big, big topic. But I've learned through some of the professional seminars that we've had, there's one thing you can get on a dog for, and that's lack of effort. But you better be darn sure that it's a lack of effort, not confusion. And they can look very, very similar. So the next video coming up on Sunday is going to go into a deep dive on that specific topic. Because, again, I've got a young dog he's got 120% drive. He just wants to go, 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 go. And to hold him back, you know, he's vocal, and I'm trying to work on that. So I'm trying to bring it down a notch. But I'm also trying to read, is he giving me effort, or is he just being a goofball, or what? And it could be a hard thing to kind of gauge, especially when they do odd things. But we'll have that coming up here on Sunday. So look for that. I believe it drops Sunday morning, and that'll be the next long form video. Well, Dusty, thank you for chiming in. Watching from Central Arkansas. Have our first junior test next weekend. Wow. All right. That's exciting. The first one is always, you have mixed feelings about it. It's excitement, it's anticipation, it's dread, like, oh God, what if he doesn't do good? Or, you know, but my advice to you is take a big, deep breath. Take your time. 99% of new people getting into the sport rush through it. All I want to do is rush through it and make the judges happy. One of the things that makes the judges happy is don't let that dog drag you to the line, if you can all help it. Work on obedience before you get to that point. And the hardest part is going from the last holding blind to the line. And in fact, Dusty, coming up in the month of April, I'm going to dedicate the entire month to producing some junior content. I've got 2 long-form videos already produced. So the first Sunday and the second Sunday, I've got those videos already done. If there is anything I can help you with, if you're struggling with certain concepts or training regimens for the junior, you know, pipe up and let me know. And in fact, let me bring this back up right there. So there's my email address right there. And again, let me know if you have success or something that's surprised you. I mean, I love the feedback. So good luck to you in your first junior in Central Arkansas. I'm very happy that you guys get to run. It's been incredibly warm here. We almost hit 80 degrees today in southwest Montana, and that's like, oh God, ungodly warm for this time of the year. All right. Anybody else besides Dusty have a comment? I'm willing to hang out here for a little bit longer. Again, drop me an email, or there's ways to get a hold of me on the YouTube channel as well. And I also have a Black Blizzard Retrievers on Facebook. If you want to send me a DM through any social channels, you're certainly more than welcome to. Again, I'm putting a lot of my own time, energy, and effort with no money in return. So, and again, I'm looking for testers for the app. And some of you that may have just dropped on here, I'm creating a Amateur Retriever Academy app. And there's a junior section in there, Dusty. If that's something that interests you, you want to test that out, let me know. Shoot me an email. And when that time comes, I will definitely let you know. And this is my first app. So there's a lot of back-end stuff that you have to go through the 2 app stores. And again, once that becomes available, I'll let you guys know. Goodness, ate too many cookies. Okay, anybody else want to chime in? Now it's time, because I'm dragging on. See, it's 7:36 my time here in the Mountain Time Zone. And I got 5 of you still hanging on here for dear life. And I'm just kind of rambling on here. Yeah, so I don't see anybody piping in, which is fine. Again, I'm trying to make these a little more educational on the live streams. I was adding newsworthy stuff that's going on around the country, adding some news content about retrievers and events, etc. There really wasn't a whole lot to discuss over the last 5 to 7 days. The one thing I can share with you, which I did on Sunday, is that the Master Amateur Invitational in Stoughton, Wisconsin, is coming up in late June. And on Entry Express, if you look under Wisconsin, you'll find that event. It is now open for entries. You can enter your dog right here, right now. It will close, top of my head, I want to say the 27th of April, either the 27th or 29th, but that's listed on the premium. So if you want to jump on Entry Express and take a look at that, there's just a handful of folks, the last time I checked a day or two ago, that jumped on there because it opened up on Tuesday. So it's only been a couple of days. But you got plenty of time to enter. But again, don't forget to enter, because before you know it, you're going to forget. And the deadline's coming up here. And again, it closes in late April if you want to jump in on that. All right, so y'all are down to whittling to 3 people, and I'm probably one of them. So I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. Again, just one more shout out. If you want that free PDF from going from junior to senior, I've got a checklist for you, and I will be more than happy to email that to you. Just shoot me an email, wxmherd@hotmail.com. Use my personal email here for this, and I'll be more than happy to get that sent off to you. And again, I look forward to getting some feedback from you if you like that kind of thing. And I can definitely make one out for you, Dusty, if you want a checklist. I can make a checklist for you as well, if that'll help you in your endeavors running junior, trying to get those 4 passes to get your junior hunter title. All right, everyone. I'm going to wrap that up for this evening. Thank you for checking us out here on Black Blizzard Retrievers on the YouTube channel. Don't have a whole lot else to say. Looks like someone else just jumped on here. Again, going once, going twice. But if you want to have anything to bring up, now's the time to throw it in the chat, because I'm about ready to put a fork in it. Call it done for the night. And I don't see anybody piping up here. Okay, let's call it good. All right, everyone, I'll see you next Thursday. And I may do next Thursday's live stream on the topic of the 4-phase drill. It's an advanced drill, one that's very important. And in fact, it really wasn't until I got these 2 young dogs that I started doing that. All the dogs I had prior to this point, I've never done a 4-phase drill. So I'm going to talk about that, I think, next Thursday on the live stream. Look for a community post here on the YouTube channel. And of course, I'll be posting some additional, hey, this is what's coming up on the Black Blizzard Retrievers Facebook page. So make sure you check that out as well. All right, everyone, have a good night. Still a little bit of daylight out there, not much. I'm going to get back to doing some yard work tomorrow and hopefully get some dog training in this weekend. Have a good night, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on the next live stream.